All right. So, good evening, SDTM universe. I welcome you to another memorable meeting of South Delhi Toastmasters Club. Let's get to know the mission of a club for our newer members and our guests. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop leadership and communication skills, resulting in self-confidence and personal growth. Now, there are a few ground rules in this meeting. You may have heard of them before. There are mother load of ground rules, and hour after hour, I'll reiterate the ground rules, and you have to abide by them. These are the virtual ground rules. We do not talk about gender-based bias subjects, religion, and politics. Hence, it is advised not to do so in an offensive manner. Keep yourself visible on camera throughout the meeting unless a broadband connection does not allow. If that's the case, you can be off camera, but still, I won't be able to spotlight you as a speaker if you're not on camera. So that will be the one part which you will have to take care of. Your audio should be muted unless you have a speaking role. Call and text notifications should be on silent mode. If you need to take a call, please do so after the meeting. If it's an emergency, please mute your audio and video for the same. After each speaker finishes, send recommendations and commendations through private chat. The chats are open. Preferably send to private chats, not on the public thing, because it confuses the speaker, because too many messages come, and then when we have to send a message, it gets lost. So send through private chat. There's an option to do that. And speakers, you will receive a notification after your speech finishes. That will be the commendation and recommendation by the audience. There will be voting after each section. So I urge everyone to vote, and I would expect that there should be no ties of any kind. But as far as the certificates are concerned that I will not be able to publish today, I'll try and make sure that I can give you soon after the meeting. I haven't created that certificate part. I'll make sure that I can help you with that later on. Only the role players, inclusive of timer, supplementary evaluators, speech evaluators, speakers, timers, can share screen. If any speaker wants to share screen, please let the timer know so that the timer can, in the same manner, tell you the timings through voice, but use it only when needed. The chat box is open, but refrain from sending unnecessary messages. Only we will have chat box open if we want to know which speaker is coming for the table topics and your recommendations through private chat. Now, with these mother load and hour after hour meeting rules, I'll hand over the stage to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Arushi.
Hello, beautiful people. I welcome you all to the 824th meeting of South Delhi Toastmasters. Again, yet another Saturday, and we all gather today. Today we have a very special theme, something I had to Google, because I wanted to know what should we look forward to today. So it was very interesting, and it had a little contrast because the meaning I had read on Google had a little negative connotation, but when I read our poster, it had a positive connotation. So I was looking forward to it even more. But from whatever I gathered, it is when you repeatedly do something. And I think while growing up, all of us, we have been in a loop and we followed a pattern for doing things, be it related to our careers, be it related to our relationships, multiple things for which we have formed our habits. So I actually want to ask all of you, and I would start with myself, that what is one piece of advice you would like to give your younger self, a 10-year younger self of you? So for me, it would be to constantly challenge the status quo, which I think I was a little, I was in the background and I wouldn't challenge a lot of things. And I thought that this is how things happen. So that is a lesson which I have learned over the last couple of years, which I try and keep up. So opening the forum to the beautiful audience here, and I would like to hear a piece from you too. Yes, Varsha.
I think I would advise myself. I was when I was younger, I was fretting over the fact that my English was not very good.
Mm-hmm.
However, like I realized over the period of 10 years, I've improved greatly. And the fact that like you will improve very slowly and over the 10 years. So don't put a deadline. Just like keep improving little. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually relate to that too. Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes, Utkarsh.
Yes. So one thing that I would actually tell myself is to first of all join Toastmasters. I think I'm not even kidding. I would say to myself, join Toastmasters, and also try to improve more of my soft skills rather than focusing on just giving my exams and just improving technical skills. So much more important is to also improve your communication skills.
Absolutely. I relate with that too. Wow. Absolutely. And Toastmaster Amit, even you had raised your hand.
Yeah, 10 years back, I want to suggest myself keep learning and don't think what you are getting from that, because eventually means this is a gradual process of learning and you can't see result over the night.
Right.
So good things take time to happen.
Right. I think we have a bunch of motivational writers right here at SDTM. Wonderful. I think I again relate with that. Beautiful, Toastmaster Amit. Thanks for sharing that. So, thank you for sharing that. And I have a bunch of announcements because I think it gets lost in the concluding remarks. We are planning to go offline soon, and we have thought that from April we would be doing that. I know some of you would get excited at this proposition, and some people would be heartbroken. I am sorry, but it is how we've always functioned at Toastmasters. And after this long break, I think
Green card.
this is the way to be. So that would be my number one announcement, that please, if you have been in that online mode, just mentally make up that we will eventually be shifting offline in a month's time. And the second announcement, which sort of coexists with the first announcement, is that we've started membership renewals. So Toastmaster Amit was kind enough to put a message last night on the official group. So I would just request everyone to read that. We have revised the membership fee because we would be needing a little more funds for booking the venue. So we have increased it a little bit than what was before for the last 6 months period. So just be cognizant of that fact, and I hope you can renew super soon.
Red card.
So that was announcement number 2. Now that I have the red card, without much further ado, we would be calling upon Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Kuber, who's not only one of the newest members, not new anymore because we've had a few additions, but he's somebody who has respected each and every sort of role play, like role at Toastmasters, beginning with our counter. He said that our counter is his favorite role, and that actually got me thinking. I was pleasantly surprised, and it was really wonderful, the description he gave as to why he likes it. So he caught my attention from that day, and every time he comes, what I like is he will bring an unusual topic and some little extra edge of flavor to his role. So he also has a funny bone, which he manages to tickle a lot of the times at SDTM, or sometimes in our private conversations also. And so I hope that you can bring some more joy and laughter to the meeting today with your theme. Over to you, Toastmaster Kuber. All the best.
Huge round of applause for Toastmaster Arushi. Timer has been spotlighted. मेरे को spotlight कर दो, please.
You are spotlighted.
Okay. Okay.
Neha, you can show the screen later on.
Yeah, Sneha, stop sharing screen.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Toastmaster Arushi, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. Welcome to the 824th South Delhi Toastmasters meeting. Let me quickly tell the guests the agenda for the meeting. The meeting is divided into 3 sections. The first section is the prepared speech, which, as it goes, are the prepared speeches. The second section are the table topic section, which is the members of the club will be given an impromptu topic at which they will have to come and speak for over a minute. The third part is the evaluation section, in which the evaluators will judge the prepared speeches. So that is that. Coming back to the theme of the meeting, which Toastmaster Arushi said was with a negative connotation, well, there is nothing positive about ad nauseam, to be honest. Ad nauseam, by definition, means so annoying, repeated so much that it's almost nauseating. So let me take you back to 2018, when I had attended stand-up comedy open mics for the first time. And for the first 5 mics, I was very surprised. No matter how experienced a comic was, he would come and repeat the same jokes. Ad nauseam. Over time, he would come and say the same jokes. Even after 10 mics, they were saying the same jokes. And I couldn't understand why that was being done. Because as an audience, I was expecting more content. Even if the jokes were not funny, they would still come and say it. Even if nobody would laugh at their jokes, in the next open mic, they would again come and say the same content. In fact, even the new comics had started the same thing. And it turned me off a little bit, to be honest. After an year, when I went back again, there was this particular comic named Ashok Khatri, who had started an year back when I had quit. So he came and he told a joke that he had been saying for 1 year. For an entire year at the open mics, 4 times a week, he would come and say the same joke. But it was different this time. What was different? The man was same. The content was same. The audience was same. Me. And to make matters worse, I had heard the joke before. But I was laughing. When everything was same, what had changed? It was the repetitions. He had said the joke over and over again.
Green card.
But on the surface of it, it does not make sense, does it? Why repeating the same thing? We've heard from wise people that foolishness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But I beg to differ. That is something I had learned that day. Repeating something is a little different, but I couldn't exactly understand what it was. So I decided to take on the same journey. Yes, I decided to write a 5-minute set and repeat it over and over again ad nauseum. This story is something which I will be telling after I call the general evaluator for the meeting. The general evaluator for the meeting is someone who is the backbone of our club, and he's someone whom I can trust blindfoldedly. Please put your hands together to welcome the general evaluator for the meeting, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kuber. So here I am as a GE for the meeting. As a GE, my role is simple. I have to evaluate the entire meeting, right from the time it starts to the time it ends, the various speech evaluators, the anchors, everyone. And that's the most important thing. And for that, as we often hear this ad nauseum, that I have a team of supplementary evaluators who will assist me in this role. So I have three supplementary evaluators in timer, R counter, and the grammarian who will assist me in performing this role in their various capacities. So let me first welcome the timer who will take us through the various timing for the speakers. So over to the timer, Toastmaster Sneha.
Thank you, G. Hi, everybody. Today, I am the timer for the meeting. There would be, I would be timing all the participants and all the speakers. There will be two speeches and the grace period would be for 30 seconds. So first speech timing would be 4 to 6 minutes. So including the grace period, the timing would be 3 minutes 30 second to 6 minutes 30 second. Beyond that, the person would be disqualified. I'll be showing or speaking green at 4 minutes, yellow at 5 minutes, red at 6 minutes. For second speech, the time would be 5 to 7 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds. So it comes out to be 4 minutes 30 seconds to 7 minutes 30 seconds. Here again, I would be showing or saying green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, red at 7 minutes. Apart from that, second section involves table topics. Here the total time would be 20 minutes. An individual speaker would be allowed to speak for 1 to 2 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds at the upper side. That means 2 minutes 30 seconds. I will be showing or saying green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. Then we have the evaluators, speech evaluators. The time limit would be 2 to 3 minutes for each evaluator with a 30 seconds grace period on both the sides. That is 1 minute 30 second or 3 minute 30 seconds. I'll be showing or saying green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5 minutes, red at 3 minutes. Then we have general evaluation, wherein the time limit would be 5 to 7 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds on both sides, which comes out to be 4 minute 30 second to 7 minute 30 seconds. So I'll be showing or saying green at 5, yellow at 6 minutes, red at 7 minutes. Then we have TMOD closure conclusion that is of 1 to 2 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds at the upper side. So that means 1 minute to 2 minute 30 seconds. I'll be showing or saying green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. Just one suggestion: whenever you see red or hear red, please make sure that you finish up within 30 seconds to remain qualified for the voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sneha. Remember, Toastmaster Sneha is debuting as a timer, so let's wish her all the best and let's move on to the next supplementary evaluator who will be there as a surprise. I just got a message from Toastmaster Ahmed that he wants to take up listener right now. So I thought, well, if you're ready, why are we going to say no? So Toastmaster Ahmed has taken on the role of the listener on the NH second, which is what Toastmaster is all about. So let's listen to Toastmaster Amit about how he perceives the role of a listener.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Nimi. Aditya, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So I am playing the role of listener, and as a listener, my role would be to listen carefully and note down the salient bits of information from the meeting. And at the end of in the third section of the meeting, I will ask few questions from you and check how much attentive you are during the meeting. I just want to share one tip with you guys that how we can become an effective listener. Just very simple. Keep your camera switch on. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amit. Toastmaster Neha, just add Toastmaster Amit as a listener in your timer sheet, all right?
Sure.
Yeah. My third supplementary evaluator is someone who will check your ahs and ums and crutch words and let you know that you shouldn't speak like Rohit Sharma, who has ahs and ums after every few seconds, but speak flawlessly, well, like someone you think like someone, let's say, I don't know who, but let's take a guess. So Toastmaster Pandey will take us through the role of the R counter.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. The purpose of R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pass filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will note down the words such as and, so, but, or you know, and also filler sounds and here. And also I will note down the repeats I, you know, like that. At the end of the meeting, I will present my reports when called upon to do so. Thank you, and over to you, GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pandey. And now let's save the best for the last. One of the more exciting roles, which we often ignore, is the role of the grammarian or the language evaluator, who will take us through what is the word of the day, the idiom of the day, and what all the grammarian does, and where all will they be the strict one. So let's listen to Toastmaster Varsha.
Thank you. Can you also start sharing the screen whenever? Okay, thanks. So good evening, everybody. It's great to be back. I feel like I've been gone for a very long time. Now I'll be your grammarian today. So for my introduction of the role, I would basically be noticing proper and improper usage of grammar. That is very obvious. And then I would also be noting down wonderful phrases and words used by our Toastmasters and the guests present here. So now let me introduce the word of the day, which is motherlode. So motherlode basically signifies bounty or a large amount of something. Then we have our idiom of the day, which is hour after hour or hour upon hour, which basically means something which continues happening or something that you continue to do for a very long time without stopping. And we also have a bonus word of the day, which is the theme, ad nauseam. And I'm sure since everybody has spoken about it, I don't need to explain it. I would really like every time anybody says these particular words or phrases, we show this gesture to encourage them so that they know they're doing a good job. And now the reason we have these words and idioms in every meeting so that they can be part of our daily vernacular. So for example, I am learning driving these days. So my first class was a motherload of stressors because it was very stressful, looking left, looking right. I was very stressed. And after coming back, I had like dreams about it hour after hour. Now I'm in Kochi right now, and my instructor today is my 4th day, and he thought it would be a great idea to teach me a new language while driving. So he kept talking in Malayalam ad nauseum, and I'm afraid I'll be dreaming in Malayalam today. So that is how we will be using the word and the idioms, and I will be back with my report when called upon to do so. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha. We'll listen to your report hour after hour when we'll call you. All right. So now that ends my role. I'll be back in the final section, as you all know, ad nauseam. Now let's hand over the stage to our TMOD. And remember, our TMOD is also debuting, so please give him the encouragement whenever you can. Over to the TMOD, Toastmaster Kuber.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. You've all heard the quote by Bruce Lee. He has said, "I'm not afraid of a man who does 10,000 kicks one time. I'm afraid of the person who practices 10,000 times one kick." So with this aim in mind, I decided to do the set 10,000 times. Obviously, that wasn't possible, but I'll tell you the progress up till date. So I went on to the open mic, and for the first 5 times that I performed that set, I realized that I had not even memorized the set properly. It was only by the 6th time that I was comfortable with speaking it out. The next 20 mics I spent in setting the flow of the set. This is going to be very boring till the time I do the 100th, because it was also for me. Nobody was laughing till this time. Imagine going to an open mic with the promise of making the audience laugh and just standing there. But I had a mission in my head, and I wanted to understand what is the power of repetition. So with that said, let me start with the prepared speeches section. Our first speaker for the day is someone who believes that life will surround you with challenges and obstacles, but it's you who can defeat it and tell yourself you made it. Toastmaster Sukriti. But before I call upon Toastmaster Sukriti, let me call upon her evaluator, who is an aspiring mental health practitioner, Toastmaster Sandra. Toastmaster Sandra, please share the objectives of the speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kuber. Hello, dear Toastmasters and dear guests. So, Toastmaster Sukriti is delivering her icebreaker level 1, project 1. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Now, I will wish best of luck to Toastmaster Sukriti. Go forward and deliver your best. So with this, I hand over the stage to looking forward to listen more speeches from her, and I would like to hand over the stage to Toastmaster Kuber.
All right, so this is the icebreaker speech of Toastmaster Sukriti. Please put your hands together and welcome Toastmaster Sukriti onto the stage.
Thank you, TMOD. So I'll move forward with my speech. Remember the time when you thought you would give up, but the voices within you said, "Don't worry, you've got this." I've heard this voice several times in my head. Good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I will be telling you about myself and a journey through which I made it. Back in school, I was a shy girl and was scared to speak. I was 11 years old when I failed in 6th grade. Questions flooding down my head with zero answers to give. How will I face my parents? How will I face my tutor? How will I face my friends? Giving up was the only option that came to my head. The new session had already started, and my confidence level to go back to school was still at 0 level. 2 days have passed by, and I'm still thinking hour after hour. I finally made up my mind and told myself, "You've got this." The next day, I got up and went to school. I walked the most heavy steps of my life while reaching the main gate of the school. Tears gushing down my eyes as I reached the gate, but I knew that I've made it. I gave myself time to start fresh and blended with new classmates. With time, a year passed by, and I'm a new person with more confidence to life. When I was celebrating this new change within me, I didn't realize it was time of the year when the report card will determine my future. My teacher was calling down names and handing down the report cards to each student. As she was approaching my name, those feelings and emotions came back. Sweaty hands, non-functional brain, cold feet, and loud noises beating inside me, as if the doomsday was near. I heard my name was being called. I quickly went to my teacher. She handed me my report card. I opened it and read through it. Promoted to 7th grade, I knew that I've made it. As you all know, college is the most important step in everyone's life. The hustle began as soon as I gave my 12th boards, back to back entrance exams. I didn't really know how did it all went. I knew there was no turning back now. The result had come out and I was qualified in just one entrance. I was scared that will I will not make it through it. What if I don't qualify in the coming rounds? I kept working hard with this thought in my head. I qualified in second round and the final round was yet to decide my college center, the place where I will spend my 4 years of life. The day of counseling had come and the nervousness kept building on me. As I saw the seats were being occupied, I kept asking myself, will I make it through? I kept waiting hour after hour, and finally they called my name. I knew that I've made it. College was a roller coaster ride with lots of learning and challenges. 4 years passed by. I was indeed a grown up with a job in my hand before graduating. I received the degree in my hand and I knew that I've made it. As I deliver my speech today, my journey of life to you all, I know that I've made it. I made it despite of all obstacles, despite of huge challenges. I made it because I wanted to keep moving forward. I made it and so can you. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Wow. That did not sound like an icebreaker at all. Give me a cheer if you wanted to hear more of that. Woo! Okay. Don't get discouraged. Their mics are off. Wow, that was and I think it remains no secret that the title of her speech was "I Made It," which is something I forgot to mention in the starting of the speech. Great job, Sukriti. Congratulations on your icebreaker. Okay, moving on to the second speaker. The second speaker is Toastmaster, is someone who is a sales professional on the weekdays and a passionate Toastmaster on the weekend. And to Toastmaster Gagan. And to evaluate him, we have Toastmaster Rohan, who has been a Toastmaster for the last 3 years, is a strategy professional and likes to do solo traveling and podcasting. Over to you, Toastmaster Rohan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Gagan is delivering his level 1 project 2, the first speech of the evaluation and feedback project. The purpose of this project is for Toastmaster Gagan to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback for a second speech. And the purpose is also for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Madam Timer, please note the time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best to Toastmaster Gagan. Back to you, the Toastmaster Gagan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohan. So without further ado, I welcome Toastmaster Gagan onto the stage. Toastmaster Gagan, I wonder, Toastmaster Gagan.
Some of you may be smiling, but I hear those voices day in, day out. Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmaster and guest. 25th December 2021 at 8:21 a.m. sharp, I was blessed with a baby boy. It was a turning point in my life because after that, all hell broke loose. Doctor handed over the baby to me for the first time with the sacred words that he is a jet-lagged baby. It took me 1 week to understand the meaning of jet-lagged baby, the one who sleeps during early hours and is wide awake during owl hours. Cooing, cuddling, and crabbling became part of my night shift, and I failed miserably to lull him into sleep. Whenever he used to start his mother lode of weeping and wailing, our household became a bunch of Nostradamus astrologers. I used to say, he is crying because he has a gassy stomach. My mom used to say, he is crying because he's hungry. My wife used to say, come on, he's crying because his nappy is wet. Well, that's not all. My aunt from Singapore used to call me and she used to say, Gagan la, he's weeping la because he has indigestion la. Baby can't tell us what the problem is. We have to guess. But what is striking is how generous we are to interpret what could be at stake. When he cries, we don't accuse him of being mean. When he kicks and hits, we presume that he may be frightened, sleep deprived, or hungry. I wonder how kind we would be if we are similarly imaginative around adults. If we can look beneath the surface of grumpiness, unpleasantness, and viciousness, to trust that here also it can be pain, fear, or mere exhaustion. Our household has become a call center, and in call center, you have shifts. My wife, early morning shift. My mom, afternoon and evening shift. I, late night shift. I wonder, in a tough world where spiritual gurus and self-help books propagate the idea of independence. I am powerful. I am in control. I am responsible. Do we have space for dependence? Just like you, me, and my baby have survived because of extraordinary care by others. The baby is a reminder that nobody is self-made. We are not the authors of our own life, at least not the introductory chapters. Perhaps it is time to pay a debt of gratitude to our caretakers. Every week, I take the little one to the health clinic. On my way, outside, under the street lights, on the pavement, outside a thatched hut, I can see a father in ragged clothes playing with the baby, mothers cuddling with the little one. When I reach the clinic, I see a similar scene where parents are waiting in queue and playing with the babies and cuddling with the little one. And I wonder, do babies care about social status or how much money we make? Babies care about laughter, cuddle, and people who are kind to him. Weren't we all like that before society corrupted our mind? And here are babies reminding us to be empathetic towards others because you never know what they are going through. To be grateful to our caretakers in form of our parents, grandparents, uncles and aunts, and to be compassionate and kind to others. Ladies and gentlemen, next time you hear wonder what baby is telling you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gagan. That was beautiful. When Toastmaster Gagan said that, have you ever wondered what you want? All you want is, we all wanted cuddles before society corrupted our minds. And I thought I still just want cuddles. So probably society is yet to corrupt my mind. Let's take 30 seconds to give feedback to Toastmaster Gagan for his wonderful speech.
And Suneha, I presume both the speakers are qualified?
Yes.
All right. So in that, while let's also vote for the best speaker. I can see 13 members here. So I would like to have all 12 votes. I won't be able to vote because I'm the host and I don't have a second device. So maybe we'll do that from next time. But I want 12 votes and your time starts now. Okay, that's quick. One more. I'll give you 10 more seconds. Okay, it's done. Thank you. Over to the TMOD.
Let's take 30 more seconds to give feedback to Toastmaster Sukriti for her speech, which I had missed out on. All right. How many of you are aware of this phenomenon called breathing? I'm assuming all of us, but 80% of meditation is breathing. Would you agree with me, Toastmaster Varsha, Toastmaster Amit, Toastmaster Utkarsh? So when it's so obvious, what is it about how to breathe consciously? What is it about just repeating the very simple act of breathing ad nauseam? Of course, it's not ad nauseam. In fact, if you stopped breathing, then you would vomit. But either way, you get the point. So reiterating on the fact that repeating small acts with conscious can improve our lives can improve our lives tremendously. Taking the meeting forward, let me invite someone who is a CA by profession, and he was second in last week's international speech contest. Please welcome your table topic master, Toastmaster Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Kuber. You're doing a marvelous job. Welcome, Toastmasters and all the dear guests. Today, I am playing the role of Topics Master. The purpose of the Topics Master or the Table Topics Master is to facilitate the table topics where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking and to have members think on their feet. Although it's just for 2 minutes, you will have to practice hour after hour to nail the table topics. I will introduce a topic and call on the speakers who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subject. At 1 minute, the timer will show the green card. At 1.5 minutes, the timer will show the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, the timer will show the red card. The 30 seconds grace period would be given. I would request everyone to nominate themselves, especially the guests, to put their names in the chat box. I would request the most affectionate Toastmaster Varsha to help me out by collating the names of the volunteers. Now, till you give your votes, give your names in the chat box, I would like to tell you something more. The topics for today will revolve around the theme of the day, ad nauseam. Today, we have mother loads of time of 20 minutes. I would also encourage all the members to use the word of the day and the idiom of the day. Before starting the session, I would like to give 3 tips to improve your impromptu speaking skills. First, always prep for the session. How can I prep for the session? Well, you can have the structure, have the opening line, have the content, and at last have the conclusion. Second is give a personal anecdote and connect the topic to that. And the third is to smile. You would feel more confident. Now, I would like this session. So, who do we have the first speaker? Okay, we have Varsha as the first speaker. All right. So, here's your first topic. What was the last habit that you consciously created, good or bad?
Okay, so since I've already spoken about learning how to drive, I'm trying to consciously create the habit of pressing the clutch while changing my gear. It's very hard. And I think, as Arushi said, what is the one advice that I would like to give somebody who's 10 years younger than me would be practice how to press the clutch while it is so frustrating. There's, as I said, mother load of stress, but I can see how I've improved in the last 4 days. Like I can shift the gears more, I would say smoothly, and it's giving me a lot of confidence. It's not something that which is a habit just yet. However, I'm planning to when I go back home, which is Ayodhya, and I would be practicing car every day, practicing driving every day, and I hope that it becomes a habit. Otherwise, we know how Indian traffic works, and there's a lot of stress while somebody is pushing in from here and sort of zooming past to you like this. So I hope it becomes a second nature and also a very very genuine skill or reflex. Thanking you. Over to you, Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha, for sharing that personal experience. Even I was, when I was started driving when I was in 9th, or probably I think I was in the 10th class. Yeah, the most difficult part, the part is to get a hold of when do you have to put the gear and when you have to put that the race comes more. Sometimes the race comes less. So yeah, I think I personally I relate to that. So moving on to the second person, we have Toastmaster Amit. So Toastmaster Amit, yes, I can see you in the spotlight. So I'll share my screen to give you the second topic. What do you love to practice? I repeat, what do you love to practice?
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Utkarsh. So what do I love to practice? So I love to practice means I love to read, and I practicing that for almost 1 year to develop that habit. Every day I'm reading a few minutes, at least louder, and few minutes in silent way. So that I love to practice because I am practicing that. I want to enhance my reading speed. So for that I'm reading multiple books, and I am getting an idea like how we can become a fast reader. So for that, what I learned over there while we are reading, we are doing the vocalizations. Means while we are reading, we are pronouncing these words in the back of the mind. So better way is that instead of vocalization, keep observing that instead of vocalization. In that way, you can enhance your reading speed. So that is the one idea I thought I got, and I believe that we can practice, and I love to practice that. But that is seems a little difficult. It's not so easy to not doing the vocalization, because since childhood we are doing that thing. Means if we have to read, we have to vocalization. But reading that, I am practicing that part. Thank you. Over to you, Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amit, for sharing your experience. Even I Also, personally, I also relate to when you start reading, that's a very good habit and improves in multiple aspects of your life. And one thing that I also like practicing is, practice public speaking, putting myself on spotlight and seeing how I'm, speaking. So I think that is my experience. So the third speaker we have is Toastmaster Sneha. All right. So Toastmaster Sneha, the topic for you is, what bad habits do you want to break? What bad habits do you want to break?
Okay, let me time myself. Thank you, Toastmaster Utkarsh. So there are many bad habits, for example, drinking a lot of tea, then not exercising, not going for morning walks or evening walks, lying down on bed, not, standing up on time, causing backache and other issues. So there are a lot of bad habits, but the first bad habit I want to stop doing is that I want to work on my exercising habit. I want to stop procrastinating my exercising habits, because first of all it is affecting my health. I feel demotivated. Okay, I haven't been able to go for exercise, so I feel so disheartened. Okay, I planned this wasn't in my timetable and I didn't do that. So I want to work on it. And secondly, the reason is that obviously I want to make myself healthier within a period of 1 month, 1 year, sorry. And I want to achieve this goal for myself. So I think this is one bad habit which really I want to really get rid of. Also, there's a long story behind being a healthy child. So I've been called invariably fat. So I want that I say to people, now look at me, guys. I've reduced weight and become healthier. Yeah, thank you, Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sneha. I also, I was thinking today only that I have to get myself and exercise myself. So I'm still there only. Okay. So moving on. So next we have Toastmaster Arushi. Toastmaster Arushi, the topic for you is, what is or has been your greatest challenge? I repeat, what is or has been your greatest challenge?
All right. Thank you for that. And a part of that, I think I said it in my introductory speech today. So when you are in a routine, when your life is going on in a loop, you sometimes lose yourself in it, and you don't realize that you need a change, and you need to sort of put that routine to stop, and then get back a little, reevaluate the situation, and then move forward. So for me, it was actually thinking, first having the courage to take a gap year, which eventually I was able to do. And it was something on my mind. It's not easy to do it. There's a lot of things that you need to sort of take care of. You have to be mentally ready for it. There's a lot of emotions that come up when you're financially independent and you sort of lose it. So that, and also how you're going to chart your path for that time that you're going to take off. There are some very good days. There are not so good days. So I think that's been the biggest challenge. One, to think about doing it. Then two, being able to take that decision, which I did. And now 1 year later, here I am. So having enjoyed all of it and savored it. And so I think that was the biggest challenge, to bring on board all the loved ones also to support me for this big decision. That would be it. That's what comes to my mind. There's another close second, but that's a story for another day. With that, I'll hand it back to you, Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. I'm glad that you joined South Delhi Toastmasters in a gap year. All right. So moving on, Next, we have Toastmaster Sandra. All right. So the topic for you, Toastmaster Sandra, is sorry. What is your number one goal for the next 6 months? What is your number one goal for the next 6 months?
Okay. Thank you. So may I start, Utkarsh?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Utkarsh, for such giving me such an challenging and interesting topic. So I will tell you my life goal, which is my aim. It's not for a time being, but it's for life and for my betterment of my family and my country members. So I want to be an IS officer, and I want to change the administration system of India. I think in some aspects this administration system in India is a bit not good, because people they are I see people they worry for such things. They don't get their work done as early as possible. They are going whether it is a poor people or a rich person, let it be. But the I in my case, I cannot see I think I cannot see anyone in problem, in trouble. So I think that everyone for me, every each and every person for me is a countryman, and it's like a yeah, it's like a people whom for whom I would like to work, and I would like to erase all the problems and all the bad things from their life, so that they live um, perfectly in their coming life. And I would not see any problems in my country or in my family or in my countrymen. So this is my aspect of and my aim, which is for life being. So it's like, yeah, I cannot see anything that is bad happening. So it's, yeah, over to you, Kuber. Sorry, Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandra. I would love to see you become an IS officer in the coming few years. So all the best. All right. So we have the next guest, who is Pushpandu. Oh, sorry, I'm spelling it Pushpanshu. Do we have Pushpanshu? Pushpanshu, are you there?
I don't see him in the room. Can anyone see him in the room?
I'm not able to see him.
If you can move, do we have another guest in the room? R.S. Pandian, can you be?
R.S. Pandian, do we have R.S. Pandian?
Toastmaster Pandey can encourage him.
He is sitting in a different place. I am sitting in a different place. I told him to participate.
That's fine. So I'll pick somebody.
Okay.
So I'll pick Rohan. Rohan. Do we have Rohan? Rohan Bansal, Toastmaster Rohan. Yeah. All right. So Toastmaster Rohan, your speech topic is: interpret the quote. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work, by Thomas Edison. Over to you.
How many times do we start working on a task and immediately have that paralysis in our mind that, okay, it's not going to work out. We are going to fail. We are not good at this. We are not worth it. How many of you here feel that way or have at some point thought about it? Yeah, and that's just it, right? Every single stone that you throw at a particular tree to get that fruit down is an effort towards actually mastering that act of getting that fruit down. And when you find that those 10,000 ways of actually doing a particular task or mastering a particular opportunity, that is when you become you gain a competitive edge over everyone else in the world. Take apprentices, for example. carpenters or people who work to build new things, build new houses, build new infrastructure, so to say, around the world. They don't just become an expert in just 1 hour of work. They take years and years, sometimes decades, to actually master the act of actually putting the tools into play and actually creating a work of art, right? So art takes 10,000 hours. It doesn't take an hour of work to do. So that's the thing. It's to build your atomic habits, as James Clear pointed out, that every act you take is a vote towards the person you kind of have to want to be. So putting those 10,000 hours in is your way of actually putting effort into mastering that particular ability, mastering that particular mindset that you want to cultivate. So I absolutely agree with this particular quotation, and I really admire the courage, the innovation, and the efforts that Thomas Edison put towards the world and in his innovations and in his efforts. So back to you, Akash.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohan, for sharing your valuable insights into the topic. So now, before moving on, I would like to ask the timer, do we have additional time to take more speakers? How much time is left from the 20 minutes?
We can, Utkarsh, we can take one more.
All right. So I'll have to pick somebody. Okay, I'll pick Sukriti. So Sukriti, do we have you in the audience?
Yes, Toastmaster.
All right. Okay. So Sukriti, here's the topic for you. When have you worked hard and loved every minute of it? When have you worked hard and loved every minute of it?
So I would like to share my journey of internship when as soon as I was going to pass out, but we had to do a certain amount of time for internship. So in that particular time, I was working hard and learning a lot of things while interning, and building new apps and website gave me a lot of interests, and made me realize that there's so much to do in life, and it really gave me a reason to come back. Every day was a new take for me, and it really motivated me to work harder. And seeing those prototypes that I built working on my phone, seeing it on live website or Play Store, even motivated me more to work even more hard. So I believe this point of learning during the internship made me a better person, and definitely I enjoyed a lot. So yeah, over to you, Toastmaster Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sukriti, for sharing your experience and your thoughts on the topic. So I think we are all done with the table topics. I think it was the first time that every person in the meeting has participated in some form or the other, since we had less members joining today and guests joining today. So that's a big advantage. Before moving on,
Toastmaster Sneha, is everyone qualified?
Yes, everyone is qualified.
Can you confirm the names? Toastmaster Varsha, Toastmaster Amit, Toastmaster Sneha, Toastmaster
Arushi, Toastmaster Sandra, Toastmaster Rohan, Toastmaster Sukriti.
has everybody voted? Toastmaster Aditya?
I'll give 10 more seconds. I need one more vote. I do need one more vote. Yeah, it's done.
So I'll hand over the stage to General Evaluator Toastmaster Aditya. Thank you.
Give me a millisecond. So thank you, table topic master Toastmaster Utkarsh. Now it's time for the final section and the section where we learn. We've had speeches, we've had the fun section. Now it's section where we learn, where we see how we have done so far in the meeting, and this evaluation section is into 3 parts: speech evaluators, supplementary evaluators, and my report. So let's start with the speech evaluators, and for that let's call our debutant speech evaluator Toastmaster Varsha, who will evaluate the icebreaker speech of Toastmaster Sukriti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. So, great, Sukriti. What a speech! Means I totally loved it because so there is a some commendation. Happy that the speaker used her failures or told about her life. I means what she has been struggling for, and she has been a successful person now. And it was a personal story, great, and confidence was awesome. Uh, but yeah, the great thing was about the speaker that people generally they don't share their failures and all. They don't share their life experience in a bit, but this speaker has a great thing that she has shared her experiences, that I have been to this stages, and I have, so it's very great about her. So now there are some recommendations which I would like to give her for amazing speeches, upcoming speeches. Would have stood up and delivered the speech. Camera angle should be rectified, and use some hand gestures. There should be voice modulations, and use the space like stage or area wherever she is giving the speech. And so these are the recommendations. Uh, and there are some commendations also. There was an amazing start with the quote, and she was very bold, and she was confident, and yeah. And all in all, to summarize, that this was a very excellent speech which I had heard, and I congratulate Toastmaster Sukriti, and I would love to hear more of her speech in the coming sessions. Over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandra. Great effort in your first evaluation. Carry on that work. Our second speaker was Toastmaster Gagan, who will be evaluated by another experienced evaluator in Toastmaster Rohan. Over to Toastmaster Rohan.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. I wonder, in our quest to find our inner child throughout our life, we often go back to our childhood in search of those memories that define us. But the speaker today presented a very refreshing take on caretakers and how they shape us growing up. So I really appreciate Toastmaster Gagan's efforts in that front. I absolutely love the way Toastmaster Gagan used original ideas and values presented throughout the speech, from understanding the underlying reason behind why babies cry to the role of caretakers throughout your journey as growing up. It was a wonderful take on the topic, and it really left an impression on me in terms of what I want to think about, how I want to think about my childhood. So great effort done, Toastmaster Gagan, on presenting those values so coherently throughout your speech. So great job done on the speech content. My second commendation is, of course, on the speaker's presentation of the speech. The speech started with a very bang-on opening with sounds of a baby, enactment of a baby, which was very refreshing to hear. I was wondering what actually was going on in the speech, and whether that was a technical error or whether the speaker was making those sounds. So great take on actually building interest into the speech of the audience and having that hook right in the middle, right in the beginning of the speech. So excellent work done, Toastmaster Gagan, there as well. And I really appreciated your hand movement, the way you were coddling the baby and taking it from side to side, and you were enacting the speech throughout and giving that flair of the dramatic throughout the entire speech. So great work done on that. Thirdly, I noticed hints of humor throughout the speech, which was excellently sprinkled out throughout the speech. From having the talk with Toastmaster Gagan's aunt from Singapore, and bringing that flavor of humor throughout the speech was very excellently done. I implored the speaker to actually explore this a lot further in his future speeches, because this is something that I think he will be really good at. Right. So, as the caretaker of his speech, I have some recommendations for Toastmaster Gagan to act upon coming forward. Firstly, I noticed Toastmaster Gagan's hands were like this a lot of the times during the speech. To me, as an audience member, it indicates closed off body language. So I recommend the speaker to either keep your hands open, because your entire body language was visible throughout the speech, but your hands were closed off. So I would recommend that you keep your hands open throughout your speech. This would indicate to the audience that you're more open and receptive to audience feedback. That is point number one. Secondly, is I noticed that the way you structured the speech, in the middle, you presented a conclusion, right? A key takeaway, which should be kept towards the end of the speech so that the audience can relate to the speech a lot more. So I noticed that in the middle of the speech, you might have presented your conclusion and then moved on with the speech. So I recommend you work with that. And finally, because you took 5 minutes, 37 seconds, you had about 2 minutes more. So I would recommend you add a bit more of pauses throughout your speech to have that impact. Overall, great work on bringing original thought, stage presence, enactment. If you could work on your hand movement, body language, and also your structure of your speech to have an intro, body, conclusion, I think it would do wonders for your speech. Back to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohan. So that ends the speech evaluation section. Before that, we shall vote for the best speech evaluator. Toastmaster Sneha, is everyone qualified?
Yes.
All right. So let's vote for the best speech evaluator so far. Everyone is adhering to the time limit. So keep that good work. Ad nauseam, motherload, and hour after hour. Let's vote. Now we have only 12 members. So I would expect 11 votes, but I request more members not to log out for whatever reasons. Otherwise, it would affect the voting. But let's wait for the voting now. All right, I'll give you 5 more seconds. All right, time's up. It's time to vote for it's time to call in the supplementary evaluators. And for that, I would like to call the listener to see how keen were the listening skills of the speaker, because if I get the listener in the end, most of you would doze off or you would not be attentive. So let's call the listener and see how Toastmaster Amit can test you and how many of you were dozing off or were busy on your phones. We shall know when Toastmaster Amit will ask you the questions. Over to the listener.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. So I appreciate you have to just raise your hand. You can raise it in that way, or you can raise your virtual hand if you are ready with your answer. So my first question is, when Toastmaster Kuber in the beginning introduced his topic at Nauseam, he mentioned about the one speaker, one stand-up comedian who repeat one joke again and again. So can you tell me the name of that speaker, that stand-up comedian? So yes, Toastmaster Varsha.
It's either Ashish Khatri or Ashok Khatri.
Sorry, can you come again?
Ashok Khatri.
Is that right, Toastmaster Kuber?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. So next, Toastmaster Kuber mentioned a Bruce Lee quote. So can anybody tell that quote?
Can I, sir?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
So he said, I'm not afraid of one man of the practicing 1,000 punch, but rather I am afraid of one punch who is practicing 1,000 times. Is it right?
Yeah, it's almost right. Means he mentioned that I do not scare a person who practice 10 kicks 1,000 times. I scare a person who practice one kick 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Is that right, Kuber?
I think Toastmaster Pandey actually corrected my quote.
Yeah, it's
He
a punch
said it.
actually. It was the original quote was punch, so I went there. Yeah.
He said it exactly as Bruce Lee has said it, not as I have said it. The wrong answer.
Yeah, answer is wrong.
Okay, thank you so much. And my next question is what was the percentage of Toastmaster Sukriti in sixth standard when she passed in the second time? So what percentage she scored? So she didn't mention that, so that's great. Everyone is listening carefully. Thank you so much. And last one, which bad habit Toastmasters Suneha Anand wants to break?
Overweight?
Yeah, Toastmaster Kuber.
A procrastinating fitness.
Yeah, she mentioned exactly exercise. So that's great. Thank you, everyone. And I just want to say that means it is always good if you keep your camera switch on so other people keep watching you and helping you to become a better listener. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amit. Let's move on to our second supplementary evaluator, who will be the grammarian, Toastmaster Varsha, who will let us know how good were our phrases and how many times you use the word and idiom of the day. So over to Varsha.
Okay, hello everybody. Now, first I would like to talk about the usage of the word of the day and the idiom of the day. Also the bonus word of the day as well. So as always, we have Toastmaster Aditya who used everything 3 times. I'm pretty sure more than 3 times because he's just very good with using these words in every meeting. Now we have Toastmaster Utkarsh who used each and every word and idiom once. We have Toastmaster Kuber who mentioned ad nauseam a lot of times, but that was his theme. So he did not mention word of the day or idiom of the day. Listener Amit, mentioned the ad nauseam theme once. I mentioned the word of the day and idiom of the day 2 to 3 times. And then we have speaker Sukriti, who used the idiom of the day twice, which is great because for speakers to add the word of the day and idiom is actually more commendable. We have Toastmaster Gagan, who said motherlode once, and then that is all. Now I want to talk about the good usage as well as the improper usage as well. And at the same time, great vocabulary used. So we had the word connotation, which basically means flavor or undertone or like in our slang vibe of something. Then we had status quo, which means how the norm is or like how existing state of affairs. We had cognizant, we had funny bone, and we also had this phrase chart your path, which is very visual and everybody relates to it. Now we had Toastmaster Utkarsh using collating, which means collect and combine. So it's a very efficient word. And we had this word commensurate, which loosely is synonymous to equivalent. Now, we also had invariably used, which means always. Toastmaster Sukriti used a lot of like visual phrases and like set of words. For example, heavy steps, cold feet, sweaty hands, and like doomsday coming. So like it was very painting a picture and we could imagine us being there. Also, Toastmaster Gagan had mother loads of like good vocabulary. Some of them would be earthly hours, wailing, and he used Nostradamus, which is, I find that word like name fascinating, so I'm just adding it here. Sandra used countrymen. I don't think we hear countrymen like these days as much as we should, I think. And then we had nice phrases used by Toastmaster Rohan. For example, mastering the mindset you want to cultivate. Also, hints of humor sprinkled throughout the speech. He used words like competitive edge and implore. There are certain improper usage as well. For example, a bit not good was used, whereas we should use a bit bad, or not good shouldn't be there. I would not see any problem. I would not like to see any problem. And then we had how did it all went, rather than we should be how did it all go. That is all for my report. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha, for the detailed report. Now we have Toastmaster Pandi, who will take us through how we coped up with our R's and Ums. So over to Toastmaster Pandi.
Yeah, thank you, General Evaluator. Can I have sharing rights?
Toastmaster Neha, Toastmaster Pandi would want to share the screen.
Just a second.
Okay, Toastmaster Pandi, please go ahead with the report.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, General Evaluator. So this is my counter report. As a surgeon at arm, he was flawless, and President's address also fabulous. The TMOD used 5 times and repeats what said once, give your once. And as a general evaluator for flawless, and speaker Sukriti was totally flawless. Once repeats, I will. Then speaker to Gagan Singh was flawless. That is, everything was perfect. And table topic master Woodcuts, they repeats I 1 time, that 1 time, and he used it twice. Then we are coming back to then during the table topics, Varsha used R, Toastmaster Varsha used R twice, and that Toastmaster Sunega used 6 times. Now Toastmaster Sandra used R twice, so once. Toastmaster Sukriti, she used R 5 times. When Toastmaster Sukriti was delivering her speech, she was totally flawless, everything in control, in perfect. So when it comes to the table topics, she used R 5 times. So what my recommendation is, to avoid such kind of fillers or crutch words, when we are speaking normally with our friends or wherever in office or outside also, we should avoid the crutch words, the so, hum and hap. Because when we are using normal speaking, while speaking normally, then it will come when you are trying to speak in a controlled environment also. So the practice should be there. Whenever we are speaking, we should try to avoid these crutch words and filler words. That will help us to avoid such kind of things. It will make more impact to the listeners. When you are speaking without crutch word or filler sound, it influences others. It drags the attention of the audience. Even you are talking to one, it will connect immediately when you started speaking with them. So practice these things and try to avoid in casual talks also. It will improve your communication skills. Thank you, and over to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pandi. And for our final supplementary evaluator, that is a timer, let's get to know how we did with the timing report. Though I can take a wild guess that none of us were disqualified, but let's get to know in details from the timer. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, G. Let me share my screen quickly. So first of all, mother load of work. This is my debut as a timer, and hats off to you guys who have been participated as a timer in the past, because really I've been shifting between screens and I'm dog tired already. I'm telling you that. So I'm really happy, first of all, because most of you have stuck with your time and you were qualified, except Varsha, because she took only 3 more seconds. So but you were fabulous. So let me start with the report. So President opening TM Arushi, as always, was on time, 5 minutes 25 seconds. Toastmaster Kuber, you are debuting as a TMOD. Really liking your enthusiasm. Your time was again appropriate, 4 minutes, 7 seconds. TM Sukriti, speaker 1, 5 minutes, 38 seconds. I like the way you use a lot of vocabulary, a lot of, storyline. Second speaker 2, you took 5 minutes, 37 seconds. I really like the sound you made, and this I might use for my icebreaker next time. For table topic session, speaker 1, TM Varsha, you took 1 minute 30 seconds. TM Amit, you took 1 minute 29 seconds. TM Suneha, that is me, I took 1 minute 42 seconds. TM Arushi, 1 minute 51 seconds. TM Sandra, 2 minutes 16 seconds. TM Rohan, 1 minute 59 seconds. TM Arushi, 1 minute 6 seconds. For his speech evaluation, evaluator 1, TM Sandra, congratulations. This is your debut as well. You took 2 minutes, 12 seconds, commendable job. Evaluator 2, TM Rohan, you were on time. I was so scared that you were about to cross your time and you did it. So 3 minutes, 29 seconds. Supplementary evaluator, starting with grammarian, 3 minutes, again, TM Varsha, 3 minutes, 33 seconds, but commendable job. Our counter, 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Listener, first of all, thank you, Amit, for, at the last moment, you took a part as a listener. Your time was 3 minutes, 20 seconds. For me, I am counting my time. Oh shit, I forgot to start my watch. I'm so sorry. For general evaluator and others, I'll take a note. If anybody was timing me, please let me know.
It's okay, it's all right, no issues. All right, thank you,
Thank
Toastmaster Sneha. Great job on your debut role. Now it's time to vote for the best supplementary evaluator, and I presume Toastmaster Varsha is not qualified. So we have 3 contenders: the timer, the R counter, and the listener. So let's vote. Your time starts now. Okay, 5 more seconds, 1 more vote. Okay, time's up. Thank you. It's time for the ad nauseam, often heard GE report, which we heard often, and the same droning things. I'm not going to do anything different, but I'm going to say that it was an enjoyable meeting. And though there were moments where we had a lot of members not being there, so I would like to thank Toastmaster Rohan for taking up the role of a different speaker. He was prepared for one speaker, but he had to quickly change. So thank you so much. And then Toastmaster Amit for coming in. He himself messaged me, I want to be the listener. I said, the more the merrier. I was more than happy to give it to him, because that's one thing you learn. This is Toastmasters. Either there's a moment where you are not there, and when you are there, you feel like you want to be in the action, which is the whole idea. You want to be at the thick of the action. With Toastmaster Amit showed he was prepared, I would say mentally and physically, to be the timer. And I could, as I said, as a VP and as a GE, you have instincts that something is about to happen. I could feel Toastmaster Amit messaging me, okay, now this has happened, so you can say I might be lying, but I can tell you, you have instincts which don't happen once I'm done in July, but we'll talk on that later. So let's move on to the each and every role player. I won't talk about the speakers because they have been evaluated by the supplementary evaluator, by the evaluators, and I'll also avoid the president because that's not part of the evaluation often. So let's go one by one. Our TMOD debut, TMOD, Toastmaster Kuber. It did not take him long to understand what he was supposed to do because he had been silently observing other TMODs in his time spent over a couple of months here, and he knew what he had to do. In fact, he was ready with the theme. Last week, he messaged me, I'm ready. I know what to do. Just give me the name of the speakers. And the rest. So I said, all right, go ahead, do it. And it was all done. The theme was interesting. It was a different theme because we often have cliches of themes which often become repetitive and boring. So it was a different theme. And the theme really got everyone interested. It even became part of the vocabulary and the word of the day, which was very well handled by the members. And you got the member interested. You gave personal anecdotes. That's the most important thing. Once you give personal anecdotes, it gets everyone interested, and then it puts everyone, and I will also give my personal examples, which happens then in the table topic section. So moving on to that, the table topic section, I think these themes are often difficult to understand, but I think Toastmaster Utkarsh, as a table topic master, understood what the theme was about, and he was able to get good topics which were challenging, simple, yet everyone was able to speak on them. They took their time. They took a couple of seconds to speak on the topic, but the topics were so beautifully carved out that it never felt as if you were struggling for even a second. Topics, when they are simple yet challenging, it gets the best out of the speakers, and that's how we get the topic. So take a cue from Toastmaster Utkarsh. If you feel the theme of the day is challenging, don't get carried away. Make it very simple, make it challenging, and go ahead with the theme, and you'll be doing a good job. So all the members are given an opportunity. There were guests, but the guests were not there when we called them, so we can understand that. But since today was a different meeting, we had limited members, so everyone got an opportunity, and Toastmaster Utkarsh handled that very well, making sure that even if there were speakers who were given an opportunity, they were in the end, so that we could complete the time. So he handled the session very well, making sure that the supplementary evaluators got a chance first, the non-role playing members got a chance. So everyone was able to fill in and also take up the challenging topics. Moving on to the supplementary evaluators, I think all the 4 evaluators were stupendous, amazing, brilliant. If you have heard the WrestleMania advertisement, he uses at least 20 adjectives. I'm forgetting all of them, but I'll say it was a stupendous 4 supplementary evaluator event which I saw. So when you do hear the WrestleMania adjectives, take from it. It was stupendous, amazing, marvelous. I have no words left to describe. It was brilliant. Toastmaster Amit showing that on the spot is something, a tactical new of what a Toastmaster role is all about. It's all about, if you have spent enough time here, you have the confidence to say, okay, I'll take up on the last moment. Of course, listener is something you don't have to be that much prepared for, or maybe an R counter, but still, Toastmaster Amit taking up the role. Thank you so much. The questions were interesting. The questions were such that maybe we didn't know were they there. A couple of questions I myself didn't have an answer to. So the listener took out questions which were not the obvious ones. Moving on to the grammarian Toastmaster Varsha. Okay, 3 seconds more, but that's fine. But you kept a close tab on the usage of the word of the day and idiom of the day, which were in line with the theme, which was also something new, novel. And then you gave a factory of interesting phrases because there were so many. I thought I should also keep a tab on what were the word and the idiom of the day, what were the phrases being used by the speakers. I thought I'll also keep a tab because right from the first TMOD till the last speaker, everyone had something to add to that cauldron of, and you were able to do the job. Toastmaster Pandey as an R counter, he is now a veteran R counter, haven't done it so many times. He can do it with hands and eyes closed. And you gave a visual representation of the report, which is important because we need to know where we erred and where we can improve. And the R counter, Toastmaster Pandey, also gave the tips on how to improve one's R's and ums. And finally, Toastmaster Suneha doing the timer rule for the first time and saying that, yes, you need a monk-like concentration. You have to be on the button. You cannot take your eyes off 1 second. So I encourage everyone in this room to at least take the timer rule. A lot of things will be learned. You will learn concentration, and knowing that 1 second error can make a huge difference in an individual's life. So that's the most important. So overall, an exciting meeting, limited members, but unlimited fun. And I hope that we had a stupendous, marvelous, amazing meeting, and we'll continue with this in the next meeting. And with this, I end my report and I hand over the stage to our debutant TMOD Toastmaster Kuber.
That was the best report I've heard as of yet, the most detailed and very encouraging, to be honest. After the goof ups I had made in my initial address, I was so happy to hear kind words. So the message that I want to deliver to all of you is that if there's something that you want to achieve, a bigger goal, a larger goal. For instance, even the greatest singers, they practice only 7 notes every morning. When you're meditating, you're practicing the very basic step of breathing in and breathing out. I wanted to tell a story about my stand-up journey in which I practiced the same thing over and over. And I'll skip on that story. I'll just tell what I had learned over time. And it was that a joke is something that makes an audience laugh and not what you think is funny. So, which seems very obvious to all of you right now, but as I was exploring, I realized that I have to talk to an audience to make them laugh. The more involved they feel, the more effective my jokes become. I also learned that spontaneity can be practiced. Did you think about it? Seems counterintuitive. It so happened that when I used to do my set, there used to be a heckle. One of my lines was, "The girls that I'm seeing for marriage, I don't like them." And one time this girl heckled, she said, "Why?" That's all she said. And it derailed my whole set. My whole set was derailed. And after the set, I thought to myself, it is a valid question. Why? Why am I not liking these girls? I thought of a response to that. Next time when I was performing this at a competition, another girl, because it's a valid question, I said, "The girls I'm meeting, I don't like them." And she asked, "Why?" And I said, "Because they interrupt in the middle." That it takes a little time to sink. But the point was, everybody else laughed a lot at that, and it seemed very spontaneous. But the fact was that it had happened before, but on the surface, it was spontaneous. You have seen Dhoni's helicopter shot. You have seen Sachin's flick of the wrist. And it seems like magic on surface. But the point is that it has been practiced millions and millions of times. When you practice something over and over again, it is not the act itself. It becomes bigger than the act. It becomes a vehicle for the greater good. On that note, I would like to welcome the president and to give the last of the... I'm nervous. Please clap to welcome Toastmaster Arushi.
You don't have to be nervous at all. I think you did a fabulous job, Kuber. And we did learn a few tips and tricks about being on stage, one, and about stand-up. I think in the world of Toastmasters, this is very essential. So it is, stand-up is somewhere, public speaking only, just that it's a little more casual. So a job well done. And also Toastmaster Kuber was the Toastmaster of the day for the very first time. So if everybody could clap for him. Right. Apart from Toastmaster Kuber, we also had a couple of more people who were first timers. Toastmaster Suneha was the timer for the very first time. And needless to say, she did a wonderful job. We had an icebreaker today. Toastmaster Sukriti did her icebreaker speech, and it was beautifully done. So congratulations. And the beauty of the ice break speech is that we get to know a little bit more about the member who's joined our club. So we did, of course, know Shaman and Cheryl, and with today we also got to know Sukriti a little bit more. So that was wonderful. Evaluating Toastmaster Sukriti today was Toastmaster Sandra, who was also the first time evaluator. So wonderful job there, Sandra. And I like the fact that you finally decided to take up the evaluator role. So kudos to you on that as well. Toastmaster Aditya, do we have the names of the winners? I think I have to announce.
We have to vote for the best anchor.
Best
so
anchor.
Toastmaster Suneha,
Everyone
one
is
final
qualified.
time.
Yeah.
Right. All
It's
right.
very tough. It is very tough to vote. Very tough to vote. Exceptionally.
But you have to pick one.
Okay, time's up. I'll let you know when the thing is ready.
All right. So well, I started with telling you about the offline meetings. So with the show of hands, how many of you are excited about that? So it's Kuber, Aditya, Sneha, Toastmaster Pandit, Toastmaster Amit. Amit, you have to come to Delhi to attend the physical meeting. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
He
I
said
not
he's
audible.
already in Delhi.
Now, last time he told he reached Delhi. I think last time he came to Delhi.
Oh, he did. You are in Delhi. Wonderful. All right. Sorry, I'm using my phone and I'm not able to see everyone at the same time, which is why, yeah, there is a bit of a lag. Right. Yes, I also have to thank Toastmaster Rohan because he'll always come and add his special touch to our meetings, and I like that he shows up every now and then. So thank you, Toastmaster Rohan, for coming in and evaluating a speech today. All right. I think now we can announce the winners for today. All right. Best anchor goes to Toastmaster Kuber.
Debutant.
Debutant, yeah, you won in your debutant role. Best auxiliary role players, always stealing the show, Toastmaster
Yeah, as
Sneha.
usual. As usual.
As usual.
Is this my name?
Yes, yes, this is your name. If you are participating there, your name should be there.
Best speech evaluator rightfully goes to Toastmaster Rohan. Thank you. Oh, best table topic speaker goes to me. Thank you, everyone. Best speaker awarded to Toastmaster Gagan. Wonderfully, rightfully deserved. So, yes, so we are ending the meeting a little too early today. Hopefully, we don't have speech backouts from next meeting onwards so that we can finish on time. I would request all of you to put in your best smile so we can capture today's meeting, right? Is there someone who can capture it? I'm sorry, I'm not on my laptop today.
I have captured it.
All right. Thank you, Aditya, for donning so many roles today and helping us out. A big round of applause for Aditya, guys.
And I also want to thank you, Aditya, because he helped me a lot in understanding the timer role. I took a lot of his time today. So thank you, Aditya, for always being so helpful.
Yes. Thank you. I'll see you all next Saturday, 6:30 Have an awesome weekend. Bye.